So lastly, I want to discuss about like a phase of clinical trials because the new drug for generation discovery is important in this business. So it usually starts from laboratory study called preclinical, and if there's efficacy and uh, are positive, then it will enter into phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3. So here I have a small table which is roughly explaining this phase. So phase 1, I put as the number of involvement of patient is about 10 to the first. Order, I'm talking about the order. So about 10 people or 10 to less than 100 people, we give a drug with healthy normal people by escalating the dose. So we can find out this chemical candidate compound, what is the dose response, and escalating the dose until we see side effect. So that we call maximum tolerable dose, MTD, to figure out in the phase 1. We don't care about whether the drug is effective for the disease. No, we just with the normal people, normal volunteers, we increase the dose and just to see when is the drug can be tolerated. So maximum dose can be determined. In the phase 2 is 10 to the second order, so several hundred people. Now we are more interested in drug safety and potentially drug has some effect. Okay, and afterwards this will enter into a third phase. Phase 3 means now thousands of people. So this will cost a lot. Now we want to really see the efficacy, the effectiveness of drug onto this specific type of a disease, in this cancer. And now we can have a comparative efficacy. So whether this drug can be comparative to the existing drug, then the FDA, or US FDA, Food and Drug Administration, will approve the selling of the drug. So now after this phase 3, the drug will be on the market, and still we have to check whether there's any remained issues. That we call it phase 4, which is post-approval, and we want to see a long-term efficacy and potential safety issue which was neglected or overlooked or didn't come up, show up from previous phases. So here is the summary of clinical trial from Wikipedia. You can take a look at this. I just point out there is a phase 0, which I didn't talk about. It is about pharmacokinetics of the drug, oral bioavailability, and half-life of the drug. So these pharmacokinetic aspects can be studied, which is also very important later on. And also, at the last, I have a drug discovery process here. The process of discovering, testing, and gaining approval for selling a drug is long, and very, very difficult job. So there are like 4 phases here: research and development, preclinical, clinical trials, and review and approval. So you look at this, it takes almost a decade or even longer time for one single drug to be on the market and make an impact for patient care. So the research and development, you can see target identification. There are many compounds, up to 10,000 compounds will be screened, and we will find out lead identification, which is becoming the best chosen one. And then that we will use it for preclinical studies, first with in vitro study with the cells, in this case, cancer cells, and also, after all, in vivo studies. And you see, to be approved for clinical trial, minimum 2 mammalian species is necessary. Even 2 mammals and 1 non-rodent. Means a typical laboratory rodent such as mice or rats study is not enough. So to become into the human clinical trial, those toxicities and efficacy studies has to be done with other species such as a rabbit or dogs. So clinical trial, phase 1, usually it is less than 100 people, and phase 2, less than 1,000 or several hundred people. Phase 3, now a very expensive and long-term study of thousands of people to looking at the efficacy. And then it will be, it needs an evaluation and manufacturing, and after all, post-release monitoring, which is phase 4. And I hope this will give you a broad idea of how drugs will be developed and being effective to treat our patients.